Okay, welcome to the Forbidden History Chronicles live. You're here with NinjaCat 111 and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series. If you're not familiar with Desert, please check out his channel. You will love it. All links are in the description. There's also a new channel called the Forbidden History series. Go back to June 21st last year and listen from there. It's amazing. It really is. And there's also a new channel that Desert is streaming from called Forbidden History Live. So yeah, all links are in the description. If the new one's not in there on this stream, I will put it in there after. I'll have to check after. Yeah, so welcome. Hi family. Hi Lynn. How's it going? Thanks for putting all the info in the chat and for the sound check. Thank you. Love you. Yeah, I just told just a few minutes ago on the phone, I just told Desert that she might be stopping in. Mew Mew. Anyway, Mew, if you're listening, you're always in my prayers, and I love you heaps. It was good to actually talk with you in real time. Yeah, okay, on with the introduction. This was written by Dezert-Owl. The Signs of the Times. In essence, Desert discusses the history of the world and how the unseen hand has been running it from the very beginning of time. who they are and how they have founded all of the first great civilizations that are found all around the world, about who the giants really were, the ancient Aryan caste and slave systems, the priesthoods, the anti-gravity V-manners, the Earth-based misnomered UFOs, which are man-made, the control of all forms of communications, commerce, religion, mass media, pseudo-politics, etc. It is the grand deception that is used to control all of mankind, and all instituted through the three main religions of the world in particular, used as their grand cover. Their cyber code has been revealed to him because he has become adept within the study of the ancient alphabets, communications, symbolism, religion, custom, law, cosmology and mythology, not to mention the fallacy of today's political science and pseudoscience in particular. He can also define the true nature of their warfare, their shell game of bringing one civilization up for their temporary use and then taking it down for the next 500-year generational cycle, as symbolized by the classical phoenix. Desert discusses the ultimate in mind control and ancient art and the financial control, the secret societies and their blood occult rituals, and how they wage all wars throughout all time through the nations that they have created, which are all imaginations, plantations, and mere corporations. They have taken blood oaths to surrender their self-will and mind to their blind goddess, who has demanded our blood from the very beginning of time. They communicate to their minions through the movies, TV, and print media, while he can see, read, and interpret most all of it. It all says that they are using us for our ingenuity, for our collective constructive labour, for experimentation, and in the end, they intend to kill us all. They have given us full notice of what they are doing, what they fully intend to do, while all of the general population, the sheeple, they merely go there to be entertained. The New World Order is the Old World Order from the beginning of time. There is a major cosmic natural disaster that is about to happen on Earth, and they know it, but they are cleverly leaving us in the dark, hence the reason that they have built hundreds of underground bases all around the world, while they are leaving all of the people to remain unprepared, uninformed, and above ground, so that when it comes, the mere 5% who will survive above ground will die from the weaknesses and disease that has been generated from all of the poisons that they have been feeding us, from the chemtrails to fluoride in the water, to tainted vaccines, to fake food, etc., etc. They have enslaved us all by the clever means of deception, because we, most all, are their cattle, chattel, property, and because they merely wanted to harness our labour, what they always needed, which is what backs most of the world's currency through the birth certificate, but they are all through with us now. It is written in stone, as it can be seen written in the Georgia Guidestones. To know the truth is to be empowered and to be prepared. We may not be able to stop what has been done and what is about to happen, but the innocent and decent people on planet Earth deserve to know. Written by Dezert-Owl. And I'd like to welcome Desert to the program. How's it going, Desert?
Hi, Ninja. Good to be here. Thank you. And that was a nice little minute clip on the dock of the bay or wherever that picture took us with the present, staying in the present moment. That was a very wonderful piece you created there. Very good.
Thank you. Thank you. I needed to do that for myself as well as for anybody that sees it. So, yeah.
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 And hey there to Lynn and Yellow and Shannon and probably Shelly's listening in, and Mew Mew, if you're out there, hello. Good to glad to hear you're hanging in there. Life is tough, and we got to make it through. So hopefully we'll get to hear from Mew Mew real soon. And so I've got stuff in front of me, Ninja.
So do I. And, I've been working.
So did you want to start first before I get into the work?
Do you want to do it that way? I don't know.
Okay. Well, okay. Let me just do a quick a quote. I'm reading a book called the Syrian Christ, and it's by Abraham Metzari Ravani. He came from the East. This was from a series of articles he did in 1930, around the 1930s, he was cutting stone as a young man in the late 1800s in Syria, but he grew up in the Christian tradition of the East, and so he wrote a series of articles that he ultimately put them all in a book, and it gives us a better perspective of the Eastern tradition, which is what we follow in our spiritual tradition, because it's an Eastern tradition, and then Christians get all bent out of shape when they hear the word Om or anything that comes out of the East when they're embracing an Eastern tradition, and they've got to realize that what they're speaking is Pig Latin, and they ought to try to go back to the source, to the well, because that's where we're going to find life. So anyway, this was a really interesting highlight I did here a couple days ago, and he says, I deem it essential at this point to ask whether is the spirit of the present age, whither is the spirit of the present age leading us? Are we drifting away from the mountain of vision? There seems to be but little room in this vast and complex life of ours for spiritual dreams and visions. And this guy moved to America, so he's certainly soaking up the classic American insanity, and that's what compels him to talk like this. The combination of our commercial activities and the never-ceasing whir of the wheels of our industries close up our senses to the intimate whisperings of the divine spirit. We see but with the outward eye. We hear but with the outward ear. Our inward senses are in grave danger of dying altogether from lack of exercise.
Wow.
The things of this life are too much with us, and they render us oblivious to the gracious beckonings of the higher world. Let not the lesser interests of this life close our hearing to the royal messenger's song, which never dies upon the air. The star of hope never sets, always at high noon. And the great Elohim's revelations are from everlasting to everlasting. The river is always flowing. Back to you.
Back to me. Sorry, I was just having a sip of coffee. That was beautiful. Desert? Yeah, I was listening to one of your live streams from last year. I managed to have a break yesterday, and I was determined to not get distracted with the many things that I'm constantly trying to do around the house and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I made a huge effort to sit down. I managed to sit down for about, I don't know, almost an hour. And I got the original gospel out because I love that book, because it's the only real book I have. I've got PDFs like printed out, but it's the only real book I have. And I got that out and listened to which one was it? Number 50, A50 of your live stream last year, and got it to where Love was reading, and yeah, it's just if anyone like me is having trouble staying in the light and feels like they're going 2 steps forward, 1 step back all the time, do it. I have no time to myself, and I now know that that's why I put that little video up. any moment you can get is precious and powerful. And yeah, so I just wanted to say that was beautiful. Thank you, Love, for doing all those readings, and thank you, Desert, for doing your live stream in the first place.
You're welcome. And I'm glad that my programs are still getting replayed, because they're just as relevant today as they were last year. The truth doesn't change.
Exactly, and like, especially if you're just discovering this now, like on the Chronicles, like I've had a few new subscribers lately, and they may not know about the Forbidden History series, and they're jumping in, and like if I jumped in at this point in time, it would take longer to see it. So please, if you're new to this, please, they're still relevant. Go back to June 21st and have a listen. You'll be amazed. So
thank you to Shannon for her compliment. And I was gonna springboard off of what you were saying there. I got a bit of a headache today, so forgive me. I'm a little under the chemtrails, you might say.
Yeah, I've had that the last couple of days. I know what it's like. Yeah, I think we all do.
Dane wouldn't like that, isn't that word? I should have said the aerosol. I'm a bit under the aerosol spraying today.
Okay, we'll use that.
Nonetheless, inspiration is what we need. And I remember what I was going to say now. So like every day at high noon, unless of course I'm fully engaged in an activity that does, but if I notice it's high noon, I can still stop real quick and pray. But create light is the word for pray, because we are an extension of the light.
Yeah.
We are made by the light, and therefore we can create light as the ultra extensive nature of this great mystery of a creation. So I claim high noon for my time of prayer always, because it's symbolic, and symbolism, as you know, is very important within the spiritual walk. So clearly, I do it at that time, and you can set. So you can always join me at high noon if you're wanting to do it on Eastern time. You can know that right at the high noon, or approximate. Then I'm engaging in giving thanks and speaking with the Father of Light, who made all things. That's so powerful to think that we can talk to the one who made the entire universe, and he definitely hears us, and he's definitely right in front of us, but we can't see him until we pull the scales off of our eyes. So you can appoint certain times. You can do just the high noon, but you have to really meet with them first thing, last thing, when you get up or when you go to bed. And also, you can appoint certain times and not miss those times, unless, and if you forget, then you say, oh, wait, it's 12, I was supposed to get, on my knees at 12 o'clock, get in the bathroom or in my closet or wherever alone. And, but then as soon as you notice it, then you do it. As soon as you notice it, then you do it, because if you follow this pattern, then things are really going to happen. Okay, people who don't develop a discipline are the ones who really aren't going to go anywhere. You have to develop a connection,
Yeah, and I was losing that. I was losing that connection, so I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, and what you were saying about when you did that little bit of reading at the start, how we see and hear outwardly, but our seeing and hearing, I can't remember exactly how you said it, but our seeing inner sight and is not getting the exercise. You need to keep exercising it and feeding it, and it's like with anything, you forget. Like, I have been so focused on trying to get my own time that I've been forgetting to just do it, and I've been forgetting I haven't been with it, Desert. I've been forgetting the Ace of Oars, and I haven't been, so the last couple of days have been exhausting and wonderful at the same time. So sorry to butt in, please continue.
Right. Well, then, so it's about overcoming this lower world. The serpent is the enemy. The serpent has nature, and so it's like a sound wave, and the more you engage that sound wave of creating light, then the wave gets bigger. It grows and it expands, and so and it happens over a process of time. And all of a sudden, when you look back and you say, "Well, wow, how my perspective has changed, or how my quality of character has changed," and so it happens without you really seeing it. But then all of a sudden, one day you look back and you notice how things have changed, because it's like an alchemical reaction, but it doesn't happen immediately. Most often, probably it's a process that goes on. Every one of us are different, and therefore our connection and our experience will be different. Some people are good to go as soon as they get here on planet Earth. They can literally just walk right into the kingdom of heaven. But many of us, we have to crawl. We have to crawl because we've been so messed up by our world. The political state, the religious state, our parents' state. All of these, have an effect on us, either for better or for worse. And I always envy people, who have a balanced family and show outward love. Just in the general sense in this world, because it's a world that's full of confusion and hatred and it's bad. So we're very fortunate to be on the trail of enlightenment, and to see things that most other people will never see. That's what the irony of what our awakening is about. We're able to see things in a way, and certainly through the conveyance here of this presentation, because what Yeshua has done with me, something that I wasn't worthy of, but something he needed to use somebody, so he grabbed me by the scruff of his shirt and said, "Hey, I'm going to use you whether you like it or not, dude, and you're going to have to deal with it, okay?" And so he even put me at the worst end of the spectrum, the lowest end, to have to overcome all of the obstacles of what my parents did or didn't do for me, to grow up as a weed on a sidewalk in Central Jersey, and have to learn everything from my friends, which is the worst way to learn, and nobody talked to me in my family, and so it was but the irony, the flip side is that then, because I had no natural family, I was therefore able to identify with the spirit, and obviously and Yeshua, my elder brother, and it's because that so he designed it this way. He seemed like in his own formula that would then be able to help me to follow.
Your proof, your life is proof that it's like we can do it. You're living. I don't want to say living proof. I'm very mindful of the words Aishavors at the moment, Desert. But your experiences are proof.
Yeah, but look how long it's taken. You see, that's why he gave us the picture of 40 years in the wilderness. So he's given us all these symbols that help us. If we read, we can then follow the trail. Oh, okay, where am I in the story? You see, you read the book, and then you say, "Oh, I recognize what this is about. That's how I feel, or that's what I'm going through." You see, so like I'm going to give an example now. I'm reading this book. Was called the Book of Yahweh, the Yahweh's Bible, which is a 1,000-year-old copy, and so all the Yahwistic, which Yahweh is the correct, but Yahweh is the corruption, and Yahweh is throughout. So this is a Yahwistic text that was preserved outside of our Masoretic text, which is very messy, and they took out Yahweh, but Lord God, and so in reading the story about Jonathan, the son of Saul, at the beginning of the kingdom of the theocracy that they were establishing, there's this story, and when I read it 2 days ago, I was amazed that I saw another deep meaning within this story. So I'm going to convey it here, and so we'll just go down the trail here. And so Jonathan said to the young man that was his armor bearer. Now Jonathan again is Saul's son, so he's a warrior. And he said to his armor bearer, "Come, let's go up over the garrison of those uncircumcised Philistines and it may be that Yahweh will work for us. For there, and it's an interesting statement. It may be, because it was probably more affirmative that we know that Yahweh will work for us. But then again, maybe he is questioning it. We all have difficulty with in our spiritual walk, that we certainly are struggling with the doubt that will Yahweh really protect me? Will Yahweh really answer my calling out to him? And so maybe that's a correct statement. It may be that Yahweh will work for us. So they're putting him, so to speak, to the test. They're going to test the waters. Can we do this thing? And so for there is no, and he's continuing, for there is no restraint for Yahweh to save many by the few. And his armor bearer said unto him. And so I'll just ad lib here real quick. So what's going on is he's saying, let's go just you and me, just him and his armor bearer, all by themselves, no backup, no support, and they're going to climb the hill, and they're going to take on a band of warriors and take him out. Just Jonathan and his armor bearer. Now Jonathan, of course, we can see is a power word because there's John the Baptist and Jonathan. There's Yal-Ganon. The Yal-Ganon. The Yal-Ganon is the garden at high noon. There's that high noon again. You see the garden at high noon. So he's got the title that he is in the garden at high noon. And so his character type, therefore, establishes a picture, and then what he's doing here establishes a picture. So for there is no restraint in Yahweh to save by many or by few, right? No problem. He can do whatever he wants to do. And his armor bearer said to him, do all that is in your heart. Turn you, and you must see and read it for yourself. I am with you according to your heart. And so when he said, turn you, I realized what he really said was, wherever you turn. The translation was not right. It's wherever you turn, you must see and read it for yourself. I am with you according to your heart. So notice that what it's about. It says it twice. I want to read it again. And his armor bearer said to him, do all that is in your heart. Wherever you turn, I am with you according to your heart. You see? So that's what's going on. So it has the interaction we will have with Yahweh, who is the great Elohim, who is Yeshua, our father and our brother and our mother by origin. That depending upon how our heart is positioned, then he will respond. So if we're there saying, it ain't gonna happen,
exactly.
And you're kicking dirt, looking at the ground instead of looking up, then you're not going to have a result. But here it's making a profound statement that do everything that is in your heart. Wherever you turn, I am with you according to your heart. In other words, it doesn't matter what challenges you're going to be confronted with, because he's going to be there. He will bring you through. And then I'm reminded of that one classic statement that was taken out of our received scriptures, but I found it in the Gospel of the Perfect Life that came out of Tibet, a voluminous gospel as well. Very exhaustive and bigger than most of our other four gospels that we have. And in there, when they saw Yeshua walking on the water, which is what we have to do, we have to walk on water, meaning we're above this world. We're above the insanity and above the nonsense and the confusion and all these other things. And so when they saw Yeshua walking on the water, then Kefe said to him, Yeshua, if it's you, then bid me to come to you. And he said, come. And so Kefe starts to get out of the boat, and he's walking on water. But then all of a sudden he's looking around at the darkness and the blowing wind and the waves, and then he starts to think, I don't know if I can do this. Then all of a sudden he starts to think, and he says, Yeshua, save me, for I'm going to perish. I'm going to die. And so Yeshua reaches out his hand, and then he puts him back in the boat, which is symbolic of the sanctuary, of Yeshua's body. And then he says to him a classic statement out of the one of the Gospel of the Perfect Life out of Tibet. He says, "Why did you doubt? Was it not I who has called you out?" You see? So,
Yeah.
so would it be that the great one who made the universe, who called us, would not be there to save us? You see? And
Yeah.
so, but when we doubt, and when we're not fortified by the word, like we eat three square meals every day, but do we read the word 3 times a day? Do we read it once a day? Right? You see? So literally, we have to consume the word consistently. That has to be where our heart is. Where your heart is, there's your treasure.
Yeah. And that's where, I can see it because I've been walking through the mud and I've been thinking like that, Desert, all woe is me kind of thing, and and now I'm doing the live streams, but that wasn't enough. I need to do what I was doing before when I first discovered your channel, when you first invited me to your channel, and thank you.
So we have Jonathan and his armor bearer. So his armor bearer then is symbolically Yeshua. Yeshua says, "You have ceased from your own works. The battle is mine." And so he's the one who provides us with the tools and the implements. So he's our armor bearer, and so the sun is the classic shield. So if there ever was a shield, it's the shield of light, and the helmet is of solnovation, and the feet are shod with the preparation of the star message of light, or what they call the gospel. All these things. So it's interesting. So they crawl up the mountain. They crawl up, like scaling from a steep precipice, and they climb the hard way to surprise the enemy, and then they take them on, and so they kill 20. It says 20 men here, but I know how the priesthood corrupts all the numbers, and numbers are part of this the star message, and they've corrupted all the numbers.
Yeah.
When you see 70, it's 72, because that's 36 times 2, which is implicating the duality of 36. And that's something for another day. But the point is, I've seen the pattern of their destruction of the original numbers.
Okay.
So here it's actually, they didn't kill 20 men, but they killed 22 men. 22, because 22 is the number of perfection and the number of the letters of the alphabet, the consonants. So so what it means is perfection. So they were perfect. They saw the objective, what they had to do, and they did it. And then and the whole Philistine camp was in disarray because of what happened, and because they did it in the dark. They did it at the same time in the dark, because we start in the dark. We start at the worst possible place, and that's with the least amount of information, and totally screwed up by this world. And we got to overcome all that. You see, so it's a process. It's a process of awakening. And where the mainstream preachers say, hey, you're already saved, and you don't have to change nothing. Just come as you are. Yeshua loves you just the way you are, all screwed up. No, he doesn't. He wants to help heal us. That's the whole objective of the healing. Is to be transformed. It's a transformation. His followers, even at the Last Supper, were not good to go. They all abandoned him. Kayfabe denied him 3 times. You see, so what did he say to him? When you are transformed, strengthen the brethren. He said converted, but the correct term is transformed. When you are transformed, strengthen the brothers. Okay, so they had to wake up to, wow, what just happened? What's going on? And then he comes back from the dead. He came back a second time. He came back, and people are still waiting for his second coming. And what better second coming can you have than raising from the dead? What did he mean when he said it is finished? Finished. I did it. It's done. And they don't get it. They don't get it. They're still looking for him when he's right here, right now. He taught us to destroy the flesh. So now they think he's going to come back in the flesh. No, he comes back by spirit.
Yeah. Oh, good point. I like the way you put that. Yeah.
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 You know, so the insanity, so the evidence that the beast system has deceived the entire world is the fact that they don't even get that he came back from the dead, and he says, "Behold, I am with you always, even unto the end of the earth." How can it be he's coming back if he said, "I am with you always, even unto the end of the earth"? And when you are ready to receive the promise, then you will receive the promise. And the promise goes back to Abraham, and it was about receiving the great breath of the wind and fire, the Holy Spirit. When we are ready, he will breathe into us, and that is when our transformation, our final transformation occurs. We start it, and he finishes it. He says he's the author, and he is the finisher. You see? So you can know exactly where you are in the story if one will read the story. You see?
Yeah.
You have to read it.
Yeah.
We don't go there by accident, you know?
Yeah.
Okay? So by the way, anybody can call in if you want. Don't forget, you want to give out that information on Ninja, and then I'll come back.
Okay. You can call in, or actually you have to text Desert first, because we have very up to date technology here. You have to text Desert first if you want to call in on the phone, so that he can call you back. That's the only way we can do a group conversation. You can call him on 608-566-7295. That's 608-566-7295. +1 at the start if you're international. Thank you, Lynn. Or you can Skype him on Free America Radio. It's all one word, Free America Radio. Also, if you would like to help Desert with the greatest transliteration in history, you can help support him by going to www.therealpublicradio.net. That's www.therealpublicradio.net. And there's a donate button there, any size donation. It all helps. And you will get a copy of the Real Da Vinci Code, Etymological Dictionary, also a copy of the Book of Wisdom, and a sample of the original Gospel with a more up-to-date version of the dictionary at the back of it. The dictionary is crucial to understanding. It's written by Desert. It decodes. It's the original thought. It teaches you. If you get the PDFs, you can go back to the start of the Forbidden History series and read along with the programs to get a better understanding, and it's very powerful stuff. If you can't afford to donate and you would like some PDFs, please contact me through my Gmail. All the information is in all the descriptions of the Chronicles live streams, so you can contact me via Gmail and I can send you the PDFs. Also, you can contact Desert, either one of us. Anyway, I think that's it. I didn't miss anything, did I? Thank you, Lynn.
And then you gave out the Skype, right?
I did. I said it twice, and it's in the chat.
Okay. Thank you. Right. So, very good. So I want to do just a quick read out of the Dictionary of All Scriptures and Myths, and we're dealing with oil, and the oil is symbolic of the anointing of truth, and that's all the oil really represents, although it elaborates a little bit here on its aspect of being also related to love. But of course, truth and love do go together, because it changes your whole perspective on just like loving your enemies. This whole thing about that's very contrary to the world,
Yeah.
And so it's of a higher order. Oil or holy oil, a symbol of divine love, the love principle of the higher planes, which attracts the soul upward in softness, gentleness, and harmony. You love perfection in the flowing light and hate wickedness. Therefore, Yahweh, your great Elohim, hath anointed you with the oil of enlightenment above all your fellows. Psalm 14:7. The soul, on its attaining perfection, is endowed from within with love and bliss, beyond what is bestowed upon the unperfected. You receive the oil of the cedar in Amentet, and the cedar which came forth from Osiris, come unto you. It delivered you from your enemies. Ritual of embalmment from Budge, Egyptian magic. The purified soul is said to receive on the higher planes the love which comes forth from the Supreme and delivers it from the desires. The cedar tree from Osiris signifies the tree of life. And in the primary, that's the sun of light. The divine ray which comes down from the highest and penetrates all planes. Oil signifies the perfection of love, which sanctifies, and everything that is sanctified has relation to truth from the tree's root. From the essence of the free lubit, that's longing delight, there proceedeth forth in the fire an oily power, which is the body of, or essence of the comprehension wherein the fire burns. The love oil gives meekness. Then we have ointment. And a symbol of divine love. The alabaster vase in Mare's hand, broken and pouring out in loving abundance and unsparing effusion, the whole of its precious content on the Moashiach's head, Christ's head, is a beautiful emblem of the contrite and broken heart, pouring out itself in acts of penitential love on the Moashiach and his members, and thinking nothing too costly for that pure, anointed, and endowed and enlightened service. Wadsworth on the Bible, Mark. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Matthew 16:12. The purified lower affection, Mary, draws forth divine love in the personality or character of Yeshua, and prepares it for... Yeah?
Sorry, I've got a circle. Got the spinny circle going.
Okay, I'm going to do a refresh.
It has, like, it's still connected as far as I can tell, but I can't type in the chat at the moment, so...
Okay, but we're still streaming, it looks like, Ninja, so...
Okay,
just
good.
do a refresh.
Oh, will I? Am I game? Am I game enough?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, no, hang on. It's gone red.
Okay, well, don't do anything yet.
I'm not going to touch it yet.
Okay, we got seven watching, so I think we're okay. Ninja, we'll just keep. We got 8 watching now, so let's keep on going. That means they saw it was still live, so we're good.
Yeah. Okay. It'll still be recording it anyway, so people can go back and watch the upload as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So.
Okay.
So the purified lower affection. Can somebody give an audio check? Remember to do a refresh when you're having the circle, and then and give us an audio check. Okay, so you're tuned into the Forbidden History Chronicles here the NinjaCat 111. You're good. Keep going. Thank you, Lynn. Okay, thank you, Yalov. Okay, so the purified lower affection, Mare, draws forth divine love in personality or character, Yeshua, and prepares it for dissolution, burial. It is by a supreme effort of love of the ideal that the character or personality is discarded. The sense of separateness is overpassed. When Yeshua and the Moeshayak, the lower self and the higher self, become one. Okay? That is it in a nutshell right there. You know, it is
Yeah.
so let me read that last sentence again. It is by a supreme effort of love of the ideal that the character or personality of the self, the ego, is discarded, or the sense of separateness is overpassed. When Yeshua and the Moeshiach, the lower self and the higher self, become one. Okay? And so one more here, dealing with oil, and here's olive, the fruit. There in that word olive, I love it because you can hear it also says all live.
Yeah.
All live with the truth.
Yeah.
The oil of truth. All live. It lights the lamp, and it's the anointing of truth. A symbol of love and the victory of light, implying courage. Moreover, as to this fruit of the olive, if the matter be examined, you will find what it was. The fruit of the olive signifies charity, charity, the ability to focus. How do we prove this? Just as oil is kept down by no liquid, it floats to the top, but bursting through everything, bounds up and overtops them, so likewise charity, the carrot eye, the ability to focus, cannot be pressed to the bottom, but must of necessity show itself at the top. Profound metaphor. Augustine, Gospel of Yoginun. An olive signifies love, and carrot eye, charity, because the olive tree signifies the celestial body of the called out ones, the church, and thence the olive, which is its fruit, signifies celestial love, which love is love for the healer and sunrise. Isn't it funny how we depend upon that sunrise more than anything else, and yet we pretty well don't give it any thanks? You know, we don't think much of it when it comes up, right? You know? And it is the most significant aspect of our life, is it not? The sunrise.
Yes.
And olive signifies love and carrot eye because, where was I here? Okay, and which love is love for the healer and sunrise. Hence it is that this love is also signified by the oil, by which all the pure anointed things of the perfect circle of the called out ones are anointed. Okay, so, all right, I got one more here. Olive leaf offering, a symbol of a tribute of love. And the dove came into him at eventide into the ark. And it is truth in her mouth, an olive leaf plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. Genesis 8:11. And now at the conclusion of the reincarnating period of that stage of the soul's development, an olive leaf, or love tribute offered by the lower self as a result of the previous action of the higher self, is brought to the individual self. Then it is the higher consciousness realizes that the power of recognizing the truth is contained within the soul. when we have felt the tossings cease and received the olive leaf, the earnest of the inheritance, therefore symbol of the Spirit, from the mouth of the gentle dove, which thus assures us of a world beyond the water floods, then our freedom must be near. Types of Genesis. There you go. And, that's on the Dictionary of All Scriptures and Myths. A lifetime of reading right there.
Thank you. Thank you, Desert.
Just take my throat tonic here, and then and again, love to have callers. Any comment or question out there, feel free to call. We're user friendly, okay? It will feel good to reach out and touch somebody. And
I have a question. But
okay.
I don't know when to do it though, because it's just getting back into
time.
figuring. It's just getting back into, like, I want to be able to look at a word and decode it, and I feel like I've taken a step back with that part of it. Like, I can feel it. I can see the big picture. I know it's truth, but I want to be able to look at a word and decode it, and so that's...
Yeah. Well, I know certainly we're, I'm now having to shut down the ministry here where I'm at, and move to another location that's, we're being forced out by the local Masonic order here, and so once we get back up, we can talk. It starts with the alphabet, and so naturally, in order to help everyone be able to read and see and read it for themselves, I have to do a presentation on the alphabet, and so that is on the itinerary. But in the meantime, that it helps to have a concordance, a Young's concordance or Strong's concordance, and a dictionary. The older the dictionaries, the better. All these. It's becoming immersed in the words, immersed in them.
Yeah.
And certainly the clues that I have put on the table, the keys. That, in other words, when Yeshua asked, the 12, who do people say that I am? And then Kefe spoke up and says, you are the Moeshiach. And then he says, flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but the Spirit of my Father. And he says, then I give unto you the keys. Well, he didn't give Kefe the keys alone, because that's what people could easily interpret. But he gave all of them the keys. All of them. Obviously, he wants everyone to have the keys to unlocking these great mysteries. But we see the classic keys crossing each other behind the Pope in the Vatican, because symbolically, that's why they say Peter. They changed his name to Peter, and he's was the leader of the 12 at one point after Yeshua was taken up. But then they have the two keys behind the Pope. So they're admitting, the Vatican is admitting that they're holding the keys, and they're just dangling in front of us. Come and get it. You can't. Sorry, we're holding them. And so the keys then are being conveyed, and so that's like I said. I wasn't worthy of this. It was a matter of that the Father wants everyone to be able to see and read it for themselves. When this grand scheme of world deception, when it says that the beast system has deceived the entire world, well, what part of the entire world don't we get? And so it's just in a small pocket. Then we see, we never break 10 listeners, and yet this is one of the most profound presentations. I know it because I know what I'm talking about, and I know that I cover. I leave no stone unturned, and I'm getting to the core. Expose the priesthood, expose the tricks, expose their cipher, and even define who this loose cipher is, Lucifer, because she's nothing but an idea and a code, and that's propped up and supported by men who wear dresses, as the priesthood. So it is a science. It is an exact science. It's not like saying, okay, Desert, where'd you get this interpretation of the word? Pull that. No, I'm reading.
Yeah.
I'm reading. It's called lexicography. It's reading the symbols as words by themselves, knowing their multiple meanings, and then how they associate when you combine them. Just like this morning, I'm going to start reading next in from the Aryan origin of the alphabet, another little splice that I decided to do every day, and just in my reading this morning, absolutely astounding. I couldn't get over it, and the word, it's giving the words from the more primitive, and cross and scepter of the Lord, as the word here comes from Garza. We see the word Gaza there, the Gaza, and Gaza was the place of crossing to go see the Gazar pyramid. That was the trail. If you wanted to go see the Gazar pyramid, it'd be something to gaze on. Go to the Gazar. You went through Gaza. That's what Gaza means. So it's a crossroad, and therefore also then a scepter of the Lord, as it says here. So he's pointing it out right out of the Indo-Germanic. And then the word wood is is, which is an abbreviation, correctly should have an H, and so it's ish. And ish is still a corruption because it should be ash.
Wow.
A-S-H, because the I is corruption. And but what is the word is? What he says here, in other words, they don't have it, from my standpoint, from the anointing of Yeshua, but they're doing the best they can, and they're doing a pretty good job of conveying it here. And so is means wood. So ish means wood, and the ish is another aspect of Yeshua when he was the first made of all things as a male-female aspect, but ish implying the male primary until the A is put at the end, and it's Asha, then we get the Asha.
Yeah.
See, so what does it mean? It means wood. So what does it mean when it says wood? Well, it's talking about the tree of creation. It's not like a literal tree, but yet it became a literal tree at one point. But in its primary sense, that which is first, the superior, it's in reference to the tree of creation, and therefore the sun, and then the combination of the three. The word tree, as you've heard me say before, is also the same word as three, tree, and tray, are all the same word, and we find all three of them on the word tray. Everything comes to us on a tray, on a platter, and it is the three of the tree, the sun, earth, and moon. So that's what the ash implies. But it is female, and it is the Asha, it is the royal eye of creation. So then he has Dan. He's just throwing off a bunch of words that he put in his dictionary. He's got a dictionary I've got coming now that is absolutely required because he's gone further than anyone else in these other dictionaries. And that's why I guess I've never heard of this word, because they suppressed this stuff. But it came out, it squeezed out somehow, and I got it. And so Dan, which also means judgment, that which goes down. And I see Shannon says she's so behind. Well, we're all behind, Shannon, okay? But the good news is you're getting it now, and so that the grace of the Father is flowing for us, that we, it says many will seek to enter in, but few will be saved. But we are hearing, that you're hearing an aspect of the primitive that nobody else is talking about, that is relevant to putting all the pieces back together. So Dan here means Lord, and also strong. So there's more that can be said about that. Just leave that one as that for now. But then Uru, which they called the city Ur of the Chaldees. You've heard of that. But more correctly, the Ooroo, like that. And so that word means city. So the first city is the Uru, because everything you see is made by man, made by hands. It's the first matrix is the Uru, that which goes round, And so there's more that can be said about it, but we'll leave it there. Then I saw the ad, correctly.
Yeah, sorry.
A-B, That's
Yeah.
all right. You're allowed to laugh.
No,
And,
I've got so many things I want to say. Just keep going, please, Desert. Keep going.
all right. All right. You're tickling on the inside, I can tell. So AV, his father, and there's the star, the six-pointed star broken apart. You get the A and the V hiding within the six-pointed star. The two letters, the primary symbol of the sun. Yeah, thank you that way. There's very few people here because this is profound. Well, that's right. We have to be deep thinkers, and most people are on the surface. You know, they can't even wrap their mind around it. Like, okay, where's Desert get this stuff? You know, and so you do have to listen for a while, and then if one can hang in there for a few programs, I think then they will start getting it, because you don't get it right out the gate. It's when we've been programmed, to follow, a narrative that is a false narrative, and then we hear something. People, as we've learned in history, they will kill to protect the lie. They will kill to protect the beast system. Leave my beast alone, okay? I love my beast. I want my beast. Let me go kiss the Pope's big toe, okay? And so it's amazing. It is an amazing world. Even Yeshua said in the scriptures that parents will be betrayed by their children, and put to death. That this world, the psychopathic world, like a lot of people, we can get the picture when they become 18 years old. Then they graduated from school with a Masonic mortarboard on their head, so that the mud is put in their eyes, so that they can't see anything. They think they know everything now, right? I know everything. Hey, just went to school, just graduated, man. Okay, I was watching television the other day. I saw it on television. I know it's true. Okay, I know it's true because I saw it until Peter Jennings told me. And Dan Rather, Tom Brokaw. These people, everybody, we all bought into it. Even I thought George Bush Sr. at the time when he was president, when I was still young and naive, but he was a father figure. But this was a real statesman. And then I come find out he's a member of the Skull and Bones Brotherhood of Death, murdered the president, Kennedy. All of this stuff. What a mind blower to wake up to the psychopathic world that we are in. So we've got to hear things. We've got to be willing to hear things we've never heard before. We've got to consider things we've never considered, and and separate ourselves. The thing that really got me in the scriptures right out the gate, and it was the key, a major key, for the unfolding. It was where the scripture twice it said, "Be ye a separate people, and separate yourself, and I will have supper with you." So I separated. I didn't go to mainstream church. I did homeschool, home church with my family, and I did. I collected books. I ended up with 2,000 books on the shelf. If I couldn't read a book, I scanned it. I just looked at every page and every picture, hoping my subconscious would absorb it. That I was trying to be a sponge, because and everything was relevant. Everything, any tradition. I studied religions. I studied the secret societies. Because it's all relevant. This is how do you think I got the forbidden history? Because I pierced the veil. Yeshua caused me to pierce the veil. I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't smart enough to do this. This is a miracle to have the enlightened, focus here that we're, achieving. To go back to know that where most people are stuck in the Greek and the Hebrew, they're stuck. They think the Hebrew is legitimate. They think the Hebrew is relevant. It is only slightly relevant, only slightly, because they're pretenders. They're pretending to be something that they're really not, and so therefore, it has a little bit of truth in there, but yet then there's a whole lot of lies going on.
They took the O's out, Desert. I remember. See, they took the O's out. It's got no O's.
Right. Well, that's one element, but they took out the letter A, the pyramid. They took out the B.
They
took out a whole bunch of stuff, because that's what that Hebrew is. It's a demotic. That would be the correct term. A demotic form of script, just like Arabic, just like Pseudo-Sanskrit, just like the false Syriac that was forced on them, where they were dead, by the Roman Empire. They had to take away the capital letters that we see on our driver's license today, Pseudo-Phoenician, because they predate the Phoenician. They predate the Egyptian hieroglyphics, as I'm now proving within this presentation of this Aryan origin of the alphabet, which I already knew, but yet I had no other witness, and now I've got a witness. So just a couple more words here. So Oot, O-O-O-T, O-O-T, is sunrise. Well, there's the symbol of sun and moon, the two O's, but the Oot meaning the eye that sees, the eye that sees. So there's the sunrise, and then R. Then this one was the big one because I knew R was a power word, but I never associated with the plow. And here he's saying R, A-R, is also the word for plow in the original. Then Yalov confirmed it for me today. She said, yeah, in the most primitive German, the plow was called the R. Okay? So there you go. Okay? It's like, in other words, words were not supposed to change.
Yeah.
The words that were breathed into the Dam were legitimate. And they were the words that we would, the Eshabors, correct terminology, the Eshabors, and so what they did is they changed them. Just like they do in the legal dictionaries, in the late 1800s they had Black's Law Dictionary, Black's Law first, Black Law, black for witchcraft, and then also we get volume 2, Black's Law Dictionary number 2, then number 3, so I've got the 4th edition and the 6th edition. Now they're up to like the 10th edition, and every time they come out with another edition, they change the meaning of a word. Well, that's black magic. That's occultic. That's putting you under a spell.
Under a spell,
so you
yeah,
can never,
with the
can
spelling.
Never go into a courtroom.
Yeah.
You know what? The world they're talking about. You think you do, but you don't.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Wow. Sorry.
They're speaking of code. They're pulling on their earlobes. They're scratching their finger under their nose, pointing left or right. They're pulling on their armpit. They're giving the grand hailing sign. They're scratching their head. All these are signs to the initiated.
Yeah. Before we go further, I had to write it down so I wouldn't forget. I have forgotten your pronunciation already, but I wrote down Uluru because that is the original name of Ayers Rock in the centre of Australia. Yeah, I don't know. It just made me think of that. Yeah.
Well, that is a symbol. That's a very symbolic structure for, it absolutely is a unique structure. It's probably an ancient lava dome. That's most likely what it is. That's why it stands.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I don't know too much about it, but the tectonic plates meet in that area, and we used to have a super volcano, and all that sort of stuff that I don't know too much about, but have seen have gathered little bits of information here and there with my research.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, Ninja, why don't you give me a 5-minute break here, and then okay, then I'm going to do the Aryan origin of the alphabet. Then we're going to do some symbolism. Okay, and
Excellent.
we will take callers if anybody is game. I have to pay somebody to call in, just to get it, but that's all right.
Yeah, I know. You've got me to talk to, Desert. It's all good. But yes, we do
That's
welcome
right,
do welcome callers.
The check's in the mail, Ninja. Okay, don't worry about it.
I'm sorry. No, you've lost me now.
All right.
Okay. All right. We'll be back after the break. Just trying to.
And where are they tuned into?
The Forbidden History Chronicles. I almost said Forbidden History series. That too. Yeah, you tuned into the Forbidden History Chronicles with NinjaCat 111 and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series YouTube channel, and also Forbidden History Live. All links are in the description. I will add the Forbidden History Live. If it's not in there, I'll add it after the stream. Okay, we'll go on a short break and we'll be back soon. Okay, welcome back to the Forbidden History Chronicles. You're here with NinjaCat 111 and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series and new channel Forbidden History Live. Please check them out. We also take callers, live callers. All the details, excuse me, all the details are right there in the chat. Thank you to Lynn. And you can also call Desert on the side as well. He's happy to chat, aren't you, Desert? You're very easy to talk to. Yeah.
Right, we're here to serve. If somebody's, if they're trying to figure out something dealing with the scriptures, I'd rather bring it on the program. But if they're dealing with an issue where they're having legal problems or things of that nature, then we can possibly help refer them. Of course, that's what I used to do when I was doing the broadcast on my therealpublicradio.net and law programming 7 days a week, and we would try to help people who are falling through the cracks and redirect them to somebody who could help them. Lots of people losing their homes fraudulently through the banks and all that, so a lot of suffering going on out there.
Yeah.
And but certainly here to engage, and certainly looking for opportunities to be interviewed as well to share this information that is crucial and relevant to our being in this world and wanting to make sense out of it. The truth is not a part of any lie, and so I've been able to pierce the veil on a lot of the deception and a lot of the lies. So people are following things that are not real, and it's really tragic. It would be it's a terrible thing to think that one would dedicate their life to something, and then in the end to find out they've only dedicated themselves to a lie.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. It's difficult. Okay, so we're in the book, The Aryan Origin of the Alphabet, disclosing the Sumero-Phoenician parentage of our letters, ancient and modern. And I'm in now these are very small chapters. Chapter 2, alphabetic letters in pre-dynastic and early dynastic Egypt, which is correctly Meitzar, and theories thereon. But fully fledged Phoenician alphabetic letters of a period much earlier than these, and supposed to be several thousand years earlier than the Semitic and Cadmean Phoenician, are found in Meitzar, Egypt, the land of Ham, with which the Avres so intimately associated the Phoenicians. And Professor now Sir Flinders Petrie, about 26 years ago, unearthed at the royal tombs of Menes and his first dynasty at Abydos in Upper Meitzar, Egypt, the fully formed letters of the complete Phoenician alphabet, mostly in the Aryan or non-reversed Cadmean Phoenician style. Yeah, they reverse the letters and they also flip them over, so they're upside down and they're backwards all at the same time. That's the game. That's how they've hidden it for the real symbolism of these letters. And then it says he plates 1 and 2. They're cut upon pre-dynastic and early dynastic baked pottery. They were all, with few exceptions, isolated letters and did not form continuous writing. That's a hypothesis because obviously the point that I'd make is that they hid the writing. They hid the writing from us, but the single letter usages were slipping out on these potteries because they were identifying marks of perhaps a family or an individual, and they destroyed the trill pack just like they destroyed all the great technology. How did they cut the stone? Well, they had machines that drilled the stone, cut the stone, shaped the stone, and all of these machines are gone now. So the technology also of communication is gone. Now only the remnant we see. Okay? So they were all, with few exceptions, isolated letters and did not form continuous writing, and hence were supposed to be merely conventional owners' marks or signaries, or like masons' marks when they cut stone. But now they appear to have been presumably the names of the owners or makers in syllabic form. In view of our discovery that Minis, and some, if not all, of the pre-dynastic kings were Sumero-Phoenicians and Aryans in race. Footnote, these alphabetic marks in the pre-dynastic period were all marked by the owner, being cut into the finished baked pot, baked with question mark, baked pot. It is seldom that two signs are found together. The first dynasty signs are also cut in pottery, but more firmly and sometimes mixed with regular hieroglyphics. Groups of two or three signs are not uncommon. Groups of two or three signs or symbols of our original alphabet are not uncommon. Well, that's the parent root. The parent root is made up of two or three letters.
Yes.
Like
well,
Moses.
yes. Well, Desert. Wow. Sorry, please continue.
Right.
Wow.
Were you saying something, or were you just
No,
wowing?
I'm just wowing. I'm just that's all. Just
okay.
okay, yeah.
So you had a revelation there, but
I
was
am.
just going to say Moses.
But
Just like Moses is three letters, the parent root is MSH. MSH. What's really funny, Ninja, is my
Yes.
legal name. My three letters are MSH. Okay, I'm not giving out my legal name here, but
wow.
yeah. So MSH is the. So when I saw that, and I just saw that like within the last 5 years, it was like, with everything else that's going on with me, with this revelation and all this, that realize that my very name by the etymology of the MSH is, Moses, Moisha'ul, meaning, of course, it means to be drawn from the cosmic waters. And so that's what I'm doing, is I'm drawing the knowledge from the cosmic sea that was brought to us by Yahweh.
You're our navigator. You're our navigator.
Star navigator in the cosmic sea, right?
Yeah.
And that's what Moisha'ul was also. He was a star navigator for his people to lead them out of Meitar, misery. And okay, so continuing, and that. So I'll try this again here. So that if not all of the pre-dynastic kings were Sumero-Phoenicians and Aryans in race, and that the alphabetic letters were derived from Sumerian syllabic writing. Besides these early alphabetic letters in early Meitar Egypt, it has long been known that the ancient Meitarine Egyptians, from the first dynasty onwards, used many of their hieroglyphics as alphabetic letters in their mixed syllabic and alphabetic system of writing. On this account, attempts were made to ascertain whether the Phoenician alphabet and letters were derived from Meitarine Pseudo-Egyptian hieroglyphics, either directly or from their latter cursive and abbreviated form, the hieratic, so-called from its use by the common priest for writing on papyrus sheets with a pen. But the hieroglyphics used by the Meitarine Egyptians to represent consonantal sounds were very numerous. Each individual consonant was represented by a great variety of different hieroglyphs, often a dozen or more of those which happen to contain that particular consonant as its initial sound in the syllabic word of the hieroglyph. Yet, with all this varied number of hieroglyphs and their hieratic forms to select from in support of the theory of an Meitarine Egyptian origin for the alphabetic letters, the results were held by Professor Legard and others to be unconvincing. M.E. de Rouge, the chief advocate of that theory, selected those signs favoring his hypothesis and constructed a table. Footnote, Cadian Das Inscriptions, Caputus Lendus, 1859, so not much to make of that, in which he was represented a letter A as derived from the eagle hieroglyphs. That'd be correct because it's not the eagle, it's the A-goal, meaning it represents the sun. The A represents the sun, then the bird represents the sun because it flies higher than all other birds. V from the crane, and I'm not sure, because V is a corruption for the V, and maybe the birds are flying in V formation, and that's most likely the V, but so how they got the V here, I'm not sure. C from which originally would be G, from the throne, yeah, it would be the G, not the C, which represents the moon, but the G. The C replaced the G as the third letter. It was the G, and that's the throne of the sun. That's the G is the symbol of the sun by itself. D from the hand, which is that which sets, what goes down into the dark, going down, darkness, setting. After the first three letters represent the sun, then we get the D for darkness. But how they connect it with the hand, I'm not sure, but the hand shouldn't even have a D on it because it's on, meaning the breath of the harvest, because we harvest with our hand. E from the meander, and so on. Some of the superficial resemblances appear plausible, but practically all of the alleged resemblances were deemed insufficient or accidental. Sir Flinders Petrie observed that only 2 out of 22 letters were satisfactorily accounted for. Footnote. The plates now show only 1. Okay. And that the fact of the alphabetic letters being found in pre-dynastic Meitzar, long before the hieroglyphic system in Meitzar, Egypt, removed the last refuge of those writers who would see in them only a fresh type of cursive, Meitzarine Egyptian hieroglyphics. Nor were the attempts to trace the origin of the alphabet to the cuneiform writing of Babylonian by M. de Morgan, Delitzig, and others any more successful. So futile, indeed, seemed to be the efforts to trace this origin to Meitzar, Egypt, and Mesopotamia that the writer on the alphabet in the 8th edition of the Encyclopedia Britannica, published in 1853, declared in despair, and I like this part, in despair, that we, quote, we must admit that the alphabet, was not human, but of a divine origin, of a divine invention. Oh, they hated that, I guess.
Wow.
They hated to acknowledge that there is a force greater than nature itself. Yeah.
Wow.
And I'll read that again.
Yes, please.
So futile. What?
Yes, please. Read it again.
Okay. And hey there to Jed. Good to have you. And
oh, sorry. I haven't been looking at the chat. So please, yeah.
And so
continue.
One more time. The Encyclopedia Britannica, published in 1853, declared in despair. They had to acknowledge that, quote, we must admit that the alphabet, was of no human origin, but of a divine invention. And therefore, as my assertion here, what a beautiful witness, My assertion being, of course, that this is what was breathed into Adam. This alphabet is the higher Adic communication of what was breathed into Adam. And so this is powerful. I'm just like a kid in a candy store with this, this work here that, we've, been so blessed to, blessed is blessed. I don't want to use that word. We haven't been blessed yet, but we're about to be probably. But no, just endowed with this.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we got to have fun with words every now and then.
I know. You get me giggling, and I can't stop. Everyone knows that.
That's my one rule. We're supposed to have fun here, okay? So, but anyway, you know what I'm saying? That
yeah.
So we have a wonderful support, and I've been getting some books in that I couldn't even afford to get. And so our royal messenger out there is, made a difference because we're seeing things now, deeper than we've ever seen them before. I am, and I know that all of us are. And so continuing now with this, that obviously this alphabet that's on the driver's license of all people, a license, they had to call it a license when it was originally, the free flowing, nobody controlled form of communication. The primary symbols, that's why they hid them from us, of course, because they don't mind if you try to figure out hieroglyphics, you'll never do it.
Yeah,
but not the ABCs, because it goes straight back to the root, and they are still there. That's what I shared on at the beginning before the break. All right. So as a result of these failures and of his discovery of the alphabetic letters in early Mezar Egypt before the use of Egyptian hieroglyphic writing, before the use. Okay. So that's so powerful, to get this the alphabetic letters. His discovery. Let me just highlight this. His discovery.
I knew you were reaching for a highlighter.
Alphabetic early. Let me just highlight this. I'm gonna read it again. I can't get over it.
Yeah.
We're cutting teeth on an area that nobody else is.
Yeah.
Okay. As a result of these failures, in other words, failures, but yeah, we don't. That's the way we learn by thinking we're there, and then we find out wait a minute, we're not there, and so of course it's taken me over 40 years to get here, and now I'm a foremost expert on the Indo-Germanic, and it's what nobody talks about, obviously. And what essentially as a result of these failures and of his discovery of the alphabetic letters in early Mezar Egypt, his discovery of these letters, like we found them on a loincloth, while everything surrounding this image is all hieroglyphics, and right on the loincloth of all places. Why would it be on the loincloth? Because it's a symbol of creation. These are just prime symbols of our creation and of the Aryan race, and they're on the loincloth, like today in Freemasonry they wear the loincloth. They're so proud of it, because it points everybody down below. You know what I mean? And that's where their head is at, of course, and where it should be up in their brain. But so here it is, the discovery of the alphabetic letters in early Mezar Egypt before the use of Egyptian hieroglyphics. Okay, there you go. And of a further comparative study in other Mediterranean areas, Sir Flinders Petrie has formulated the theory that the alphabetic signs or letters were not derived from any picture or hieroglyphic writing. Okay,
wow.
The theory that the alphabetic sign symbols, meaning our ABCs or letters, were not derived from any picture or hieroglyph writing, but were older than picture writing. Well, the truth is they are a picture writing. The A, B, the A, V, G, D, E, P, H, no F. We have to throw out the bad letters and that are false diversions. And so they predate, but they are pictures. And that's how I was able to first read them, with no book of instruction, with other than the enlightenment of my tree of knowledge, Yeshua. Continuing, that the alphabet with its letters was not a systematic alphabet invented by a single tribe or individual, but in a developed civilization. Well, the developed civilization is the tribe, okay, and it is systematic. It was breathed into Adam, and therefore, and so he's not to be faulted here for not getting it, but he's not probably coming at it from the spiritual connection of Adam having the gnosis breathed into him.
Yeah.
And so, on the contrary, a wide body of science had been gradually brought into use in primitive times for various purposes as conventional, and I have my note here already, not quite so, the owner's mark or trademarks. These were interchanged by trade and spread from land to land. Well, they were not based on trade. They were based on communication. Trade is only one aspect of communication. And until less known and less useful signs were ousted by those more general in acceptance. Well, it's true that they went in different directions. That's true. And so continuing, lastly, a couple of dozen signs triumphed, and this formed the alphabet. The alphabetic stage, see, he's not giving credit to the fact that it came to us full blossom, and that it evolved, but it didn't evolve. It was breathed into the dawn. And that's the distinction that's to be made here. that the alphabetic stage of the signs was probably not reached until 1000 BC. That, again, is not correct because it predates the flood. It goes back from this point here, 8 or 10,000 years. That's what we're talking about. And that, in particular, was not originated by the Phoenicians. That's true. Nor derived from the Phoenician alphabet. It is, Phoenician alphabet is a cover for its ancient origin. It is the true Sanskrit. You write straight lines on sand. The Sanskrit in India today is pseudo-Sanskrit. It's not. They changed the names. They don't want us to get the picture. So Zen, it's Sanskrit. Zen, meaning of the highest order. Zen, meaning, because you can write books. With this code, you can write books. It's endless. Of what you can convey by thought. Go ahead.
You just made me think of Zen garden. That's sand. Zen garden. That's a little thing of sand.
It's without number.
Yeah, with the little rocks and the little rake. Yeah.
Okay, and that in particular. Okay, but let me see where I was here. So it was not originated with the Phoenicians nor derived from the Phoenicians, but arose in North Syria. So they're claiming that this is the very place where our biblical story begins, and right in the area of Syria, and on the mountains of Israel, and the Sea of Galilee, which was originally the Sea of Gennesaret, which is means the Nazareth, the knowledge that came down, the light that came down. So they got the location correct. Also arose in North Syria. That's where all this starts. And he bases his argument for the priority of signs over picture writing largely on the assumption that a child draws straight lines before it draws good pictures. And that's true. But it was sophisticated right out the gate. Here it will be noticed, among other things, that Sir Flinders Petrie's theory offers no intelligible explanation of the peculiar forms of these alphabetic signs. No, but we can. I can. That's what we're going to do. Nor how they came to have the definitely fixed vowels and consonantal values attached to them universally by their users. Almost done here. Moreover, Phoenicians, in quotes, he merely means the late Semitized, sounds like scimitar, Phoenicians of the Syrian province of Phoenicia. Phoenician alphabet is restricted to the late retrograde Phoenician of the 22 reversed letters. So they're acknowledging they reversed the alphabet. That's part of the code. And excludes the earlier Cadmean Phoenician, of which type of early Maitreme Egyptian alphabetic signs and letters almost exclusively consist. While denying the Phoenician origin of the alphabet, he nevertheless concludes that it rose in North Syria, and that's also, I believe, the area of Baalbek, where they got the greatest trilithons on the planet next to what they found up in the northern Russian Siberian area. Where there actually are a few that are bigger, but we're talking about the biggest blocks on the planet right there in Baalbek, Syria. That's Lebanon, actually, right there, I think. Next door. That is, an area, North Syria, including an area, as shown in the detailed accompanying map, a considerable portion of the province of Phoenicia and Old Phoenician cities. And the statement that a child draws signs before it draws pictures is not in keeping with the general opinion. And that, again, is just another theory, which credits the child with trying to draw pictures, however imperfectly it may succeed. Commencing on Professor Petrie's theory of Mr. Claude in his excellent book on the alphabet considers the question cannot be regarded as definitely settled, mayhap settlement may never be reached. Well, we will make history making the corrections right here, ladies and gentlemen, because it is possible to know a thing. As Yeshua said, there's nothing unknown that cannot be known. There's nothing hidden that cannot be revealed, and that is what we're doing on the Forbidden History Chronicles.
Do you want to have a look at the chat quickly, Desert? Sorry. Before,
what?
Just have a quick look at the chat. You'll see.
Yeah, say welcome to Mew Mew. Good to have you, Mew Mew. And hope things are getting better down there for you in South America than they've been. I don't know the status down there, but and have made prayers for you as well. So good to have you.
Yeah.
Okay, and everybody else. So I want to welcome all of our other listeners to the broadcast as they come in. With a lot of people listen after the broadcast. And Mew, you're welcome to. Well, I can't call you. You can't unless you can call on Skype. You can call on Skype and give us an update. Free America Radio, all one word. But I can't call out, and I have to do a three-way. I have to call. I can't take a call because Ninja will be bumped. So. Okay.
And I just want to say no worries. To Mew said thanks,
Nobody's
Ninja.
worried,
So
yeah.
I'm saying no worries. Oh, this is so cool. Mew's in my chat. That's it. That's amazing.
Yeah. Hadn't seen Mew in a long time. They were cutting off her electricity and all that.
Yeah, the power failures and the controlling and of all of that, and the control of the internet, and yeah, all sorts of stuff down there. Yeah, so it's good to see. Can I just mention that when you were talking about Syria, the last couple of days, Syria has been getting attacked to the extreme, and now I can see why. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're using that Middle East as a platform. Those were the original areas of peace,
Yeah,
and it's tragic.
I can see why now. I didn't get it yesterday when I saw it. I just thought it was just another part of. Well, it is just another part of the world going down, but I didn't see the significance until now. So thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and I got some symbolism here that I want to address. I'm trying to find my place here. Okay, I think I was going to do altar, and this other I can hold. I think because I'm losing my voice and I don't want to do the bigger work. So I'll do altar.
Yeah, you touched on that last time. So
program, okay?
Yeah. All good. Yep. All good.
Okay. Let me close this book. Hang on. Okay, so altar, the earth itself is an altar, and it's a symbol of the divine presence wherever you see, the altar. Of course, actually, in fall, the traditions, virtually all, religion being false, so their altars are false as well. But symbolically, they represent the divine presence to make it clear. But we know that the spirit, this is why when he was telling those in Israel when they first were coming out into the Promised Land, he said, make an altar of stones, but don't cut the stone. Don't cut the stone, because we're not supposed to cut or make things that pertain, as it says, one of the.
And that's why the stonemasons do cut.
Yeah, well, we see what they make. They make gargoyles and pathetic-looking images, but we're told not to make anything that pertains to heaven, or what's in the throne of the sun, or in the sky, or on the earth, or in the sea, because these are where all the deceptions come, like creatures with wings on their back, that are symbolic, just strictly symbolic of enlightenment. That's what the wings on the back represent. So the divine, altar, by symbolic nature, when they set up just the rocks, they poured oil on them, represented the divine presence, the sacrifice, reunion with the deity by means of sacrifice, and integration, thanksgiving. It's a situation at the east end of the temple, cathedral, or church represents the position of worship toward the sun, and why? Because everything came out of the sun. The ancients all knew that.
Yeah.
And in the direction of paradise, that's the true paradise, back in the light.
Yeah.
That's the true Eden, correctly, Atom, the Garden of Atoms. Being in the shape of a tomb symbolizes the passage from death to life and from time to eternity in a day without end. The steps up to the altar are ritual ascent, stone altars or vessels, see stone, signify the indestructibility and everlasting duration of the divinity associated often with the tree as the complementary aspect of change and renewal. The Aztec is the cylindrical solar stone was placed for both sacrificial and astronomical purposes. I think I read this also the other day, didn't I? You remember?
I remember you touching on altar, the word altar, but I don't.
Yeah, no, I did.
Yeah.
I did. So I'm gonna go to the next book. I've got to learn to update my notes after I do the program, and I fell back on that one. So I'm gonna go in here, and we're gonna let me see which one do I want to do. I'd rather do the one that's not as long. Okay, I'm gonna save cross, and I'm gonna do stag. Stag here. Okay, the stag is symbolic meaning is linked with that of the tree of life. The stag is the male like the deer or the elk, with the big rack on its head. Okay, so its symbolic meaning is linked with that of the tree of life because of the resemblance of its antlers to branches. It also a symbol of the cycles of regeneration and growth. As Henry Charles Fuick has observed, the stag in several cultures of Asia and pre-Columbian America came to be thought of as symbols of regeneration because of the way its antlers are renewed. Like the eagle and the lion, it is the secular enemy of the serpent, and that was the serpent in the most basic aspect is creation. Creation is the serpent.
Yeah.
The sun is the serpent. The Ouroboros, the flesh, our body is the
world.
serpent. That's why we put on shirt and pants. Serpent.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I'm getting it.
Which shows.
Yeah.
Okay. Which shows that. Okay, so its secular enemy is the serpent, which shows that symbolically it was viewed favorably, meaning the stag. It is closely related to the sun and light, whereas the serpent is associated with night and subterranean light. Hence, in the Milky Way, on both sides of the bridge of death and resurrection are figures of eagles, stags, and horses, acting as mediators between the sun and the earth. In the West, during the Middle Ages, the way of solitude and purity was often symbolized by the stag, which actually appears in some emblems with a crucifix between its horns, thus providing the last link in the chain of relationship. Tree, cross, horns. And of course, horns mean power. The horn are symbols of power. Okay, so they're all interrelated symbolically. It has also been considered as a symbol of elevation. The Greeks and the Romans perceived certain mystical gifts in the stag, which they exaggerated through psychic projection. One of these supposed gifts was the ability instinctively to recognize medicinal plants, which is what lies behind the assertion in ancient bestiaries that the stag can recognize the dictamnus plant. His prestige is part of a consequence of his appearance, his beauty, grace, agility. Because of his role as messenger of the great Elohim, the stag may be considered as the antithesis of the he-goat. And obviously, who can't like the deer, the stag, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, let me see if I can do one more, maybe. Yeah, this is not too bad. Stars. So, after stag, we get, well, wait a minute. We got Dane. Dane comes next. I think I better do that one.
Desert, we have just hit double figures. We've got 10 people. Yay!
Okay, well,
Yep.
we hit a milestone then. I
We
see
did.
It's 9 right now.
Oh, it says 10
Yeah, I
here.
didn't see the 10.
Oh, it's
Okay.
9 now.
Okay, there it is. 10 again. Look at that. Making history, being a part of history. Can't get over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to any of our new listeners. 11. Whoa.
We're telling our
Okay.
friends.
Well, you must be putting the tags right then, Ninja. So that's good.
Yeah, that
But
too.
after all, you wanted to know, right?
I did.
wanted to know, and
Yeah.
and I know there's other people out there that want to know, and of course there's Liz Rapp. Hey, Liz, hadn't seen you in a while. Good to have you. I hope things are doing well over there in Dublin. I believe that you're in Dublin, right? I think so. Ireland, the place of irony, the fire. That's something we could talk about.
Okay.
Right. So stains. So after before star becomes stains, and this symbolism, and then I'll make this the last definition.
Okay.
The symbolism of blots or stains, like that of the wall flakings, which so impressed Piero de Cosimo and Leonardo da Vinci, is a combination of the symbolism pertaining to the shapes of these stains and their texture or material. A related symbol is that of clouds, insofar as both clouds and blots suggest imagery, shapes, which, by analogy, may be identified with other shapes. Proof of this has been afforded by the Rorschach test. These blots or stains are often associated with the passage of time, no doubt, in which case they allude to ideas of the transitory and death. At the same time, stains and areas of discoloration or imperfection of all kinds may also be explained by reference to the symbolism of the abnormal. For, according to the alchemists, such infirmities in objects or materials actually constitute prima matter, the basis for the creation of philosophical gold, equated with spiritual evolution. As the Rosarium Philosophorum says, our gold is not common gold. There's your Holy Grail. Because you nevertheless have asked about the green, assuming that the mineral is a leprous body because of the green which grows in it. So we're talking about the emerald green, the emerald fire. It is solely this green, because very soon it will be transformed by our craft. They're very crafty at times. Into the truest gold. To the truest gold. That's surely about the spirituality. That's the true gold. The true the chalice. Is the grail. The golden. I'm trying to think of how they say it. They have another way of saying that word. But it is the sun, of course. Relevant to this, Nietzsche's remarks in Thus Spake Zarathustra, that out of the lowest, the highest reaches its peak, and so out of the cosmic waters of chaos, ultimately comes to perfection, and so we can see that symbolically, and it's the face of life. So the Grail is is the sun, the search. The round table. Again, look at the sun. It's round and certain to it, right? That is the table we are all sitting at, symbolically in the light. Because we want the Holy Grail. What is the Holy Grail? It is the light of truth. What could there be more sacred, and what could there be more that one would want to search for? Right? Who are we? Where are we? Why are we? When are we? Who am I? Why am I here? And then people, they graduate from high school, and then they decide, well, I think I know everything now, so now let's party, baby, and forget about everything else. And we're here to we're animals in the flesh, and just here to have a party. And it's so tragic, because they are wasting their life away, and will never, be able to, have the the true intent, the true purpose of what our origin is. The true purpose for our being here is to discover the truth, and then to put on the light, to put on that armor, and then to pierce the veil, and to never come back. To this the journey. What the journey promise. It is a supernatural. It is a supernatural realm, and it is. So just like we talked about the sporum and how the sporum goes from the male to the female, and all of these other sporum die, and only one makes it to the egg and fertilizes the egg, and so we have to go on one more fantastic journey, just like that, where millions are not going to make it. Only the few. That is the way it is. That's the great irony. Just like how we talked about the gold. Show me some gold, okay? I don't have any gold. I don't have any gold. Okay, I can't afford gold. And
me neither.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't want it. I mean, I don't have a need for it nor a craving, and so you can't buy bread with it. Even at the store, they wouldn't know what to say if you wanted to pass some gold.
They'd say that's not plastic.
Yeah.
We can't accept it. Yeah.
Yeah. You got plastic? We do take plastic, but we don't take gold or silver. Sorry. Yeah, that's a good one. So
So backwards.
We're and I noticed one of the comments by Shannon stating how she felt she's so far behind the curve, but the beauty, that there's the thing about knowledge is it gives us bearing to where we are, but it's about the heart. In other words,
yeah.
As little as you know, as little as anybody knows, if they purify their heart, and they do all things pleasing to the Father, then for the little they know, it doesn't matter. What it is within the knowledge is that it becomes a reinforcement by knowing who we are and where we are.
Yeah.
But we don't have to. In other words, I got to learn everything. Desert has no. It's not that. It's the presentation is here to draw one out of these cosmic waters, to draw them, to the place where they can all of a sudden see things from a different perspective because we've been fed so many lies.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, our tree of knowledge, which is light, but which is also Yeshua, then he becomes our guide. I'm only being used by him as a supplement to kickstart some people's thinking, because ultimately once you get it, it's not, having the entire Encyclopedia Britannica. It's just getting the nature of our dilemma and the problem and the game that's been played. In other words, like somebody, who's been married and their spouse has been lying to them for years, right? What a wake up, to find out you've been lied to. It's the greatest betrayal. And so then once you know you're being lied to, you can't be lied to anymore, right?
Exactly.
You're not buying it. And so it's more about the initial wake up, and then at that point people can see and read for themselves. I'm just here to try to help people to see and read for themselves.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm just while you were speaking, I'm just thinking back to when I first started watching the Forbidden History series, and that's exactly it. Thank you for the constant reminders that we don't need to be, can't think of the word, we don't need to know every single, we don't need to know it all.
We can never know it all.
Yeah, it is the feeling. It is the feeling, and the connection, and just like I've felt it. I know it's real, and that opens everything up, and you see a little bit more each time you get closer, and it's so powerful. Just listening to you or listening to Ya Love read, and having it having a book open and following along, it's so powerful. That's that's how the truth is revealed. It reinforces our connection with the one who made us. And yeah, I can see it. I can see it, Desert. Sorry,
Okay, great.
yeah. I just want people to know that any new listeners, this is all new to me. Like I've never followed a religion. I'm very unfamiliar with scripture, and so much has happened in the past year. So yeah, I like to remind people of that, because if they're in the same boat, yeah, it's not too late.
Okay.
Yeah. So
right.
yeah.
So I see Lynn is pointing out that there was a question up there. I scrolled up, I didn't see it, so I'm assuming that she then followed it up for herself and said the desert as the I is a corruption. How should we refer to ourselves as I, or then she puts or a Y. And so, well, the thing is the letter I with the dot. Notice how all of the cap of all the letters. It's interesting that the letter I has two parts, the dot and the stick, right?
Yeah, and the
so
J.
If you realize the stick, the way it's there, then it's like something on a pedestal.
Yeah.
What is that image on a pedestal? We see it's a symbol of the moon in that sense. But if we lay down the stick to a horizontal, it becomes the horizon, and you see the moon coming over the horizon. The moon is symbolically the blind god. It's Lucifer, and so she, is just a symbol. Of course, she doesn't really exist in nature, but other than within men who wear dresses and promote their psychopathic behavior on the planet. So they live in her, and therefore she lives in them. And it's like a corporation; it will never die, because they're not going to kill it. But so the Y is correct. If we go back to original aspect, then because the I literally means the blind, and so if you refer to yourself as I, well, there you say, that you're carrying the mantra to the blind. But we won't be able to get away from it within our common diction, because nobody will comprehend what we're talking about if we say the A. Oh, you're talking about A? The alpha?
Desert, I just wrote that.
What?
I just wrote that in the chat. AY or AY in response to Lynn's Y. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the A. In other words, it is not I, but it is A.
Okay.
You see, because that's where it begins. I am from the beginning. I am here in this grand illusion, but my spirit comes from the beginning. Before the beginning, before anything was made, I was in the bosom of the Father, somehow in this great mystery. And I don't make anything more out of it because I can't. It's impossible to know that side of it. But here in this universe, we can define all things. And so the A is the I. And so there's your, so what they did, of course, that's why they got rid of all the A's and all the O's. And now what vowels dominate? The Anglish, not English, Anglish. You see, the angler, the hooker, is that they call it ing, but it's ang. And they dominate it now with E's and I. But the original vowels that dominated were the A and the O. And as we said, the A and the V are right at the first letter, which is the star, what is falsely called the Star of David. And David was never, his name was Tabat. But the AV is right there. And then, so if the A is the primary, what do? It's a compass, right? You create circles with an architect's compass. So the O is at the bottom of that pyramid. It's a conical pyramid then, in that sense, because it goes round. And that's the eternal, not eternal. No, A. The A turns, right? The eternal. So that which is from the beginning is eternal. And that's what we have to do, is go back to the beginning. And we do it through the great mystery of the Shultres, the scriptures that tie everything together, through the Shulfar. The Shulfar is the original word for the book. The Shulfar is the scribe. The Shulfar is the book. The Shulfar is the ram's horn. The Shulfar is the soul fire. I'm a Shulfar. Then I'm also a star navigator and a royal messenger. All of these things, different hats, the just like you can be a father, or you can be a brother, or you can be a son. All these different hats. Um, by going back to these prime roots, we get more profound meaning. Our words have been killed. Like I got this NIV version, and I'm debating, should I just throw it in the trash? But I'm thinking I want to refer to it. I want to refer to it maybe in the future, on a broadcast, and show how they watered down and destroyed an ancient primitive thought. Within our scriptures, that their objective is to constantly put it in the blender and bring it out one more time, so that we will never be able to follow it back to the original thought. That's the objective, and that's what's happening right now. And so my goal, 40 years ago, I saw it. I didn't know the code, I didn't get it yet, but I saw the problem. I saw, the decimation, and I was already transliterating while I read to myself, even while I got a feeling for the words and to see that these were the right words or not that I was feeling and seeing. But I already 40 years ago realized that I thought the Heavenly Father was using me to perhaps to be inspired to preserve the original scriptures, and so this knowledge and perception has been with me for 4 decades, plus 4 decades plus.
Wow, I'm just wowing, Desert, and looking at your catalogue that I just put up on the screen because I thought I'd put it up for you. Yeah.
So Lynn, did I get the question? Was that the question you were, hitting me up on? So in the, like, in other words, I spell the word light, Lyght. So I changed a lot of the spelling in the work, in the transliteration project, because you can do it. But the letter I, in the sense of the script, when we do the scriptures, the original thought transliteration project, OTTP, I don't know. I'll probably use the letter I, because it's so much ingrained in us. I can't change everything, or nobody will read it. So I've got to find the middle ground.
Yeah.
And thank you, Jet, for stopping by and being there. And so we're it's a big work, It is a big work, and I guess I'm at the end of my steam here, Ninja. Unless you have a comment. Anybody else with a comment or a question out there?
Jet says thank you. I'm just about. I need another coffee if we're going to continue.
Right.
Yeah,
well,
I did have. Yeah. I'm always like I get tired near the end. Like I run out of steam normally around the same time you do, but then after I shut it all down, I can't go to sleep. Because I'm all. Okay. Yeah.
Well, did you have one more question? I think you said you had a list or something.
I have a list, but I don't know if we can go into it. Maybe leave it for another program. I don't know. I need to show you a video before I ask one question, because there's a little bit to it. Just something that I've been seeing. So I will leave everybody in suspense for that, because if I'm right, it's pretty huge. But I want to run it by you first with a video. One thing I did see, I was watching something and it was regarding the entertainment industry and the worship of Lucy, and they mentioned Kodak, as in Kodak cameras, and they mentioned that one of the awards, the award, how they have, like, they used to have one lot of award shows. Now I don't know how many they've got, Oscars or something, I don't know. They mentioned one of the awards and had been moved to theatre, Kodak Theatre, and just the word stood out. That was all, and I was trying to interpret it, and I don't know if I got it right now that we've done this program tonight, because I'm a little, like, I was really starting to get it and understand it, and then things got really hard with Mum, and that's why I was agreeing with you about exercising your inner sight as well as your outer sight. You need to keep your mind exercised and practice with all of this, otherwise it gets forgotten. And yeah, I don't know if I interpreted Kodak correctly. So that, yeah, I wanted to ask about it. Yeah.
Okay, the word Kodak itself, you mean?
Yeah, the word Kodak. Like, I could see something there, but I don't know if it's. I don't know if I'm seeing the right thing. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, on the surface, you see Kodak, tak is deck, so it's the number 10. It's the spin on the number 10. Deca is dock, and of course that's why the dock is called the dock, because everybody works with their hands to unload the ship right on the dock.
Yeah.
So deck, dock, dock, it's all the same word. And then the co. So the co is like, okay, your co-support, your co-other. So it means what needs to be in your hands. That's what it means. Kodak means, what needs to be in my hands. Your camera. You want to take your camera everywhere you go. Your Kodak. You get it?
Okay. That makes sense.
You want to go. You put it in your hands. Everywhere you go, you take your Kodak.
Yeah, and that's what everyone's doing now. That's what we're all doing with the filming of the sky.
Yeah. Well, right. But you see how I've never looked at that word Kodak before until you mention it, and you see how now I can read the original thought and the Indo-Germanic is right there, right?
Yes, and that's why I brought it up eventually in this program. So thank you.
I read on a level that nobody else is reading. And this is the level we have to read on if we want to be set free from the beast, because they got us into a slave mode where we only read a word the way they tell us to read a word. Like that, I like that terminology, outcome-based education. Okay, could somebody please tell me what outcome they're talking about here? Outcome? What? Huh? Yeah, the outcome that you will be as brain dead as there ever was a fly.
Yeah, wow.
Outcome-based. Outcome. What outcome? It's like it's the ultimate oxymoron statement. Oh, the outcome to make you brain dead. Yeah, that's the outcome they're talking about.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the chat as well, and yeah, I'm just seeing so many little things in this big picture now, like Kodak, how you decoded the word Kodak, how everyone is brainwashed with their mobile phones, which all have cameras, and just what everyone's writing in the chat there. Thank you, Desert. This is amazing. I can just throw a word at you, and you can do this.
I'll throw it right back at you.
Thank you. Yeah, amazing. I'm out of words. All I know now is Kodak, wow, and amazing.
Yeah. Of course, Kodak wasn't very smart because they didn't see the computer age, what it was going to do, and of course these Polaroid and Kodak all bit the dust when computer technology and digital technology came on the scene. So yeah, these companies went under.
Yeah. What about Polaroid? Because Polaroid was big. We used to have a Polaroid camera that spat the pictures, the photos out, like they'd come out, they'd spit them out of the camera after you took the picture, and you'd wait for them to
develop.
Yeah. Well, the word Polaroid. How can you, are you able to decode that one?
Pol means that which goes around, and the Roy is the light. So going around in the light, that's another aspect of it. The D is really a corruption. There would be no D. It'd be Polaroid, Polaray. You see Polaray, Polaroid, and the D is a corruption. So they put it there for some reason. So they put the D letter for death at the the end of it because I guess they want you to take a picture of the dead world. Go
Okay.
around
Wow.
taking light shots of the dead.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you again. This is amazing. Yeah.
Okay.
I should just write a list of words and throw them at you. Here, catch desert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, talking about words, here's one that Yeshua ushered in the golden age of light and the final age. And where was I reading that today? Where he said, that the world. I read it. I read it last night. Yeah, let me see if I can find it real quick. I was reading last night in another one of the lost gospels that came out of Tibet.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it real quick. This was a profound statement by Yeshua.
Wow.
Okay. So let me move my stack of books over with my phone on top. Okay. So this is in the book of the unknown life of Jesus Christ by Nicholas Notovich, and he was up in Tibet, and he discovered a lost writing, and he translated it while he was up there. Okay, so and these are it's a small gospel. This was the international gospel that was on the Silk Road. So they had a version that they actually gave to the caravans, the story of the one who came, the one who made all things. And,
Okay.
so he says here, all things done without, and I'm looking for a certain place here, and I'll get to it. I'm going to start here, though. All things done without the great Elohim are only gross errors, illusions, and seductions, serving but to show how much the heart of the doer is full of presumption, falsehood, and impurity. Okay? So all things done without Yahweh are only gross errors, illusions, and seductions, serving but to show how much the heart of the doer is full of presumption, think you know everything, falsehood, and impurity. I'm going to read down to the one I'm working towards. There's one down at 14. I'm on 10. Put not your victory of light in oracles, or also known as prophecies. Everybody wants to predict the future. It's all nonsense, what they're doing. The great Elohim alone knows the future. He who has recourse to the diviners soils the temple. He who has recourse, or he who wants to go to the soothsayers in the flesh, soils the temple of his heart and shows his lack of victory of light in his Creator. Belief, which is another oxymoron, in the diviners and their miracles destroy the innate simplicity of man and his childlike purity. An infernal power takes hold of him who so errs and forces him to commit various sins or blind actions and gives himself to the worship of idols. But the Yahweh, our great Elohim, for whom none can be equaled, is one omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. He alone possesses all wisdom and all light. There's that Om word that so many people hate. To him, you must, and by the way, let's say that again. He alone possesses all wisdom and all light. Where else would we go but to him to know a thing? To him, you must address yourselves to be comforted in your afflictions, aided in your work, healed in your sickness, and whosoever asks of him will not ask in vain. And then this is what I was leading up to. The secrets of nature are in his hands, the hands of Yahweh. For the whole world, before it was made and revealed, existed in the bosom of the divine thought, and has become material and visible afterwards by the will of the mother star in the eye of the return. Okay, so all the secrets of nature are in his hands, for the whole world. And before the world, anything was made, everything was already pre-designed and finished. That's what it said. It was finished from the beginning. Prior to anything being made, everything is supplied. There is nothing lacking. When we create light to him, become again like little children. For you know neither the past, nor the present, nor the future. And the great Elohim is the sovereign of all time, the author of all time. Okay, so powerful work, and these are the things they've stolen from us that we need to get back. And so what Yeshua ushered in is what we don't find in our scriptures anymore, and it is correctly the golden age of light. The golden age of light, the final age. Oh, what I was looking for, actually, I didn't find. Where was that?
Oh.
Yeah, no, it just brought me back to it when I started talking again. I was looking for the part where it said that it would be a short work. That's what I'm looking for. Keep report. What he said was that, I didn't find the scripture. I thought I was going to read into it, but he said that there will be a short work on earth. Okay, a short work. So when we're witnessing the end of our world, well, he said it would be a short work right in there. I didn't tag it. I should have tagged it so I could find it. But so the golden age of light is the age of truth and reason, and so it's the reborn world. This final age that he ushered in is the age of the reborn. Okay, those who are the second-born, the age of the second-born, another way to say it. And so the people who are the firstborn in the world are the walking dead. They are in the outer darkness until one puts on Yeshua and embraces the light and goes to the light for nourishment and for enlightenment. Then they are the firstborn. So the second-born, this final age belongs to the second-born. And whereas in our corrupted scriptures that said that we would inherit the earth, no, we don't want to inherit the earth. The earth is dead. The earth is not the place we want to be. The correct terminology is that we would be sovereigns within the earth. Sovereigns, okay? So sovereign with the sovereign. That's the only way you can be sovereign is with the sovereign and in the body of Yeshua. Okay? So let that be the cap off for today. We have to be deep thinkers, and we have to see and read things for ourselves at the same time. I'm unloading a lot of the deep stuff that I've been following for so long, and it's been very hard to convey. Just 5 years ago, it was very hard to convey because it's unfolding, and as the Fibonacci sequence, it starts real small and it goes around and around and around, like the proverbial snail shell or the nautilus. It gets bigger.
You're still wowing, like your wow moments are getting bigger and bigger. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we've done enough damage on the program today for the B system, and they're going down and in flames, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. They're going back to dirt, and they're going to stand somehow, maybe not physically, but their invisible soul maybe will be floating in the deep cosmic space and confronted by Yahweh, who will then challenge them. Why did you do this? Why did you do this to people? Why did you hurt the people? Why did you lie to them? Why? And they're going to be shaken in their soul, in the cold of space, and with no answer. Well, I was having a party, Yahweh. It was pretty good. No, that won't be good enough. They're going to be tormented somehow. When they leave here, they're not getting away with it. They don't get away with anything. The natural law is in full effect. They destroyed our world. They destroyed it, and they destroyed innocent people. Innocent people. They're doing it right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yep.
Innocent people in prison. At least two-thirds of the people in American prisons today don't belong there. They've been put in there by a statutory code, a rule, or regulatory fraud. Right? Just like they want to now force vaccinate people in California and other places.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's evidence that they claim ownership of our biological property, right?
Yep. Well, the real criminals get to walk free and run this world and also avoid being vaccinated themselves. Yeah.
So we're in trouble, but they're in trouble too. Okay, we have the ability to transcend. We've got to unravel the mystery. We got to wipe the dirt off of the covers of the pages and see and read it for ourselves. So we'll continue doing that. We'll be back on Friday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Friday evening, and then Sundays starting with NinjaCat 111 at 10 a.m. Eastern time, and then on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Then, of course, with that's with Shelley G on Forbidden History Live. Forbidden History Live, Shelley G's channel that she created as a secondary backup for the Forbidden History. Okay, so the Forbidden History Chronicles with NinjaCat 111, and then also we have the Forbidden History, three words, Forbidden History Live, Forbidden History Live with Shelley G, okay, on her channel. And so both of these ladies are doing great work supporting the project, and it's not my project, it's Yeshua's project, and I'm just here to serve and to do this bidding. So we certainly need your prayers. They've got all the money, we don't have any money, but we do get it done on a song of wing of prayer. And don't forget, Ninja, if you want to know the future, everyone else out there, just look for the Forbidden History. It's what they didn't want you to know. That we, what?
Tell right here, and you heard it here first.
All right. Thank you so much, and welcome to all of our new listeners. I see we have a lot of people that stopped by today, more than normal.
Yeah, it was good.
So,
yeah.
And the ones who get it keep on coming back, and it's really great. I'm honored. I'm motivated by them.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to do if there were only two people here, but 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm motivated because I know these people care.
Yeah.
And they're trying to pull their lives together to transcend. We want to transcend. We all love. It says love your neighbor as you love yourself. Why did it say that? Because we all instinctively want to take care of that serpent that we are. That serpent. Love my serpent. You know what I mean? And we just love ourselves. We look in the mirror. We're and grooming ourselves. And so we got to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. And so it starts with the love of Yeshua, to love our enemies. It's a hard thing, but when we start doing these things, it begins to make sense. Do the thing that's contrary, and so.
Yeah, practice doing the opposite to what we were taught. I'm seeing. Yeah. Yeah. We have to be set free because the hatred and anger are poisons, and we have to be set free from these things. Yeah.
And a miracle will happen. We will have an experience that we never imagined, we never even dreamed about, and that's what the potential is that we have within Yeshua. There is another life. It is the life of the second born. And so let's pursue that and come on back and tell your friends about the broadcast, listen to the replays, and see and read it for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dezert-Owl, thanking you for tuning in. Ninja, I'll let you go, and you can close out. And peace and love.
Okay, peace and love always. Thank you, Desert. That was amazing.
All right, bye-bye.
See ya. Okay, and you heard it here first. And there's not much there's not much left to say. Desert said it all so well. I just want to thank you all for tuning in. I love you all. This has been amazing. It's even better when there's more of you. I love you guys. This was a good one. And thank you, Mew. I'm so glad that you made it. And that you're doing okay. You're a trooper. Shelley, I don't know why your comments are doing that. Because you're not a moderator. Oh, okay. You know what? Just hang on one second. I might as well. Okay, Shelley, type something else in. I dare ya. If you're still there. Okay, I'll put the music on now and we'll end it. As soon as Shelley types something else in. How about some coloured hearts? I could do with some of those. Because I can't use my emojis yet. Oh, I can actually. Alright, okay. I'll close the show. I'm getting a bit tired. I need another coffee. Okay, love you guys. And hopefully see you all on Friday with our Yo engineer and Dezert-Owl. 9 p.m. Friday, Eastern Standard Time, US, Forbidden History Live. I'll put a link in the description. You guys are funny. Alright, love you guys. Thank you, Shelley. That's what I was waiting for. I was trying to fill in, I didn't want to stop talking or, yeah, until you typed. Alright, cool. Okay, love you guys. Peace and light. Smurfed. See you guys next time.
yourself. 2, log or unlock the conference. 3, to record the conference. 4, force